Okay, guys, so welcome to Life, Laughter and Lockdown. I will wait for you guys to jump on so that we can have this conversation. These videos are supposed to be short and sweet, so it's only about 15 minutes. That's really the maximum that I want to be on here. So keep your comments and everything coming, fast and furious so that we can, learn from each other and support one another. So I shall wait for you guys to jump on. So it's Life, Laughter and Lockdown. Today's episode is about protection. And essentially what I'll be talking about is how protected do you guys feel during this period? Because a lot of people are feeling a bit out of sorts. I was also interested to see what the men feel like during this period, how they feel in terms of being able to protect their family with all the different kind of information that's coming through. So, hi, Akosia. I'll wait for you guys to jump on. Just a few of you. Hi, Evans. Thanks for joining. Evans, I saw your question yesterday about beauty, talking about I assume, maybe your daughter. So please go back to the comment section. There is some information there. If you need to continue that conversation, by all means, feel free. So I am going to start pretty soon because I have already said to myself, no matter how many people are on here, this information is going to be broadcast no matter what, and then you can, people can catch up later. So today's topic, Life, Laughter and Lockdown, protection. How protected do you feel during these times, especially for the men? Do you feel somehow, and I'm not looking to put words in your mouth, this is just inquiring. Hi, Aisha. Do you feel somehow out of sorts because of all the information that is going around? Do you still feel in control of your families or, whoever it is that you're responsible for taking care of? Hi, Kofi, thanks for joining. Do share the video. Don't forget to press like for the page. Don't forget to subscribe so that when these lives start, you get the notification. And that way I won't have to jump on my personal page and then jump here. Hi, Ifia, aka Benita. How you doing? So yes, I'm going to get cracking. Today we are talking about protection. How protected do you feel during this period? Especially for the men, and I would really be interested to hear from you guys. Do you feel in control of being able to support your families? I would really like to hear that. Because what I think a lot of people are feeling is very out of control. And a little bit of this did come under the banner of fear. And we did establish that sometimes what contributes to fear is not being in control. So talking about protection, there's been a lot of information going around on WhatsApp, on Facebook and other social media channels concerning the 5G, the 5G contribution to this whole coronavirus situation. So how do you feel about that? How out of control do you feel in terms of that situation, knowing that there doesn't seem to be a lot that anybody can do? There are petitions going around. I think I've signed, a couple. But how does that make you feel? And I think what is also important that I would like to talk about is, where do you go to for protection? So how do you feel about not feeling protected, but where do you balance that out? So, for example, for me, and it's no secret, as a Christian, I believe in prayer. Hi, Missy. I believe in prayer. So, therefore, for me, I will pray to who I believe is a higher being to myself and draw that strength and that protection from those quarters. But we don't all believe in the same thing. Some people are atheists. Some people are whatever it is that they choose to be. So the question is, how do you feel protected in these times where we do seem to be a little bit out of sorts? So if you have any comments, because we're going to be moving really fast. Thank you, Donald, for joining. Donald, you just joined, and we're talking about protection, and I'm asking the question, with all that's going on around us, for you men especially, do you feel somehow unable to protect your families, or do you feel somehow disempowered? So I just want to hear from some of you men what you feel, and also I'll be going on and asking the partners, the wives and what have you, How do you feel? Do you feel that this situation, being at home with your husbands and partners on this lockdown, that their attitude and their demeanour has somewhat changed because of what's going on? So I'm really interested to hear. Any comments, or are they still super quiet?
Yeah, I mean, there are some comments, but not in response to your question. There's one from Sedina Tamaklu. She says she's enjoying these sessions.
Oh, brilliant. Thank you. Yes, I thought, look, I couldn't take off and go back to London. I thought rather than sit here and be like, oh my God, don't know what I'm going to do. I thought, you know what, we're in this together. So let me put on my big girl pants, as we say in England, put on my Bridget Joneses, and let's see how we can support one another. So the ideas, concerns, or whatever may run through my mind, or what I pick up from other people's conversations, I'm just putting it out there so that we can have a wider conversation and see how best we can support each other through this. Hi, Mo. I'm honoured to have you on here. You've not been on here yet.
Okay, so we have a question from Aisha Ankara. She says, in reality, we don't feel safe because of what is going on, but with God, all things are possible.
Great, yeah, and yeah, I think that is really the general consensus. A lot of people are not feeling safe. And I think what I'm hoping will be a takeaway from this session is some of the things that we can do or begin to explore to give ourselves that bit more security. So, Mo, one of the things I was saying that I wanted to get from this session was to hear from the men. Do you feel somewhat disempowered to protect your families because of what is going on around you right now? And then I want to ask some of the women, have you seen a change in your partners in terms of how they're responding to this situation that we're all in at the moment? So let me see. Thank you, Ninette, for joining. Yes, thank you, Aisha. Thanks, guys, for joining. Please do share the video and let me know what your questions are, because I'm going to be sticking to time. I've gone over like twice, and I really want to stick to these 15 minutes and see how much. I know it's a lot of information to pack in, but, you know, if we're focused, we can do it. You're going to have to ask your questions quick. Any comments?
Yes, we have a comment from Ayo Akinfe. He says, couples who enjoy each other's company will enjoy the time together, but those who barely tolerate one another will get on each other's nerves.
That is true. And that's going to be a separate session, i.e. talking about relationships, because of course, yes, there are going to, you know, whatever may be wrong in a relationship, that's definitely going to be, you know, come to the forefront during this time. It's inevitable. What's Mo saying?
He says there's a new virus called the fear virus. Yes, we do feel a bit more vulnerable, as we are naturally designed to protect.
Okay, so let me ask you, Mo. So in that case, what are you doing to cope with what seemingly feels like you being a little bit out of sorts and being able to protect? So do let me know what you feel about that. Bridget Boham, thank you very much for joining, and Pastor Patience, I'll say, really lovely to have you on here. So whilst you're thinking about the answers to those questions, and sorry, I'm a bit fidgety today, let me tell you how I deal with protection. Now, when I was told that I couldn't get back to London because they'd closed the borders and I wasn't able to get on the flights that were arranged to take people back, somebody said to me that, you know, aren't you worried about the children and da-da-da-da-da? And I said, listen, I have absolutely zero control over how I can protect my children. My physically being in England doesn't mean that I am protecting them. It just means that I am physically there. There is nothing that I can do in terms of preserving or prolonging or protecting their lives. I would just physically be there. So my way of thinking as a Christian and the way my brain works is that the same God who has protected my children from birth to 27 years of age, from birth to 13 years of age, is the same God that will protect them here on. Because I have not been the person responsible for protecting my children. If that were my responsibility in terms of being able to manage the future and the present, then I would have failed already, because I cannot be everywhere all the time. So that's how I've dealt with it. And I thought, you know, there's a phrase in the Bible that says, you know, remembering the things of old in a positive way. And I'm thinking, well, thus far, God has been faithful to me. So I have been able to be focused and not swayed by what's going on. Because if I didn't have that mindset, I would be fretting so badly. Every minute I would be like, oh my God, I'm worried about the children. And I'm not a natural warrior. I'm a very practical person. And I manage what I know. Sorry, that's the dog. I manage what I know I can manage. What I can manage is my mental health. What I can manage is my perception of things. What I can manage is my prayer life. So therefore, that's where I go when there is a situation that's worrisome. So that's me. Any comments?
Yes, Mo responded to your question. He says, to be honest, I was scared since I spent 15 days battling the virus.
Oh, wow, I didn't know that.
I was just praying that none of them get the virus the way I had been fighting it.
Wow, well, Mo, I'm just really glad that you're well. And I will confess, I do have a few friends or their partners or siblings who have been affected by the coronavirus. So, these things are very real. And it's important that we do create a space where people can talk to and support one another. Because what happens is fear, anxiety, and those kind of emotions are fueled when you are on your own. And it's really important that people hear positive things so that they are able to refocus and be given a different, dimension to what it is that they have perceived to be a problem or what is a problem. So anyone that knows me personally, if somebody comes and tells me that they have a problem, my immediate response is, what are we going to do about it? What can we do about it? What's the solution? Even though, admittedly, in my mind, I may be thinking, oh my God, this is terrible. But I won't vocalize that, because by vocalizing it, I make the fear real, and words are seeds and words are power. So by speaking my fear or my anxiety onto that person, what then happens is I magnify their problem. So you'll find that even within our circle, you have friends that you go to and you might say, I don't know, you're having a relationship problem. Oh, my husband did this. As for your husband, dear, I don't know. He's like this, he's like it. There's nothing that they will say that will be uplifting or will be encouraging or will be helpful in terms of practical assistance in being able to change that situation. So rather than say, okay, what would you like to do about it? Have you tried this? Have you said that? Have you done this? That doesn't happen. They will sit with you for you to insult your husband, for you to, look at how bad and terrible things are in your life, and it doesn't allow you to move forward. So again, it's important, the information that we have during these times, hence why I decided I was going to do this Life, Laughter and Lockdown so that we can have a bit of a laugh and a joke. It's at least one thing that I hopefully can look forward to in the day, that we can use to encourage one another and begin to build this picture of faith during these times. Okay? Any questions?
No questions, but then we have a comment from Ayo. He says, I do not see how men can feel guilty about not protecting their families, as the matter is beyond their control. There is nothing they can do, as the lockdown is a government directive as recommended by the World Health Organization.
Very true. But one thing that you have to realize, and we should know this, that emotions and logic don't necessarily correlate. And I'll tell you a story. When I was about 5, and I'm 40, how old am I? I always forget how old I am. I'm 48 now, because I'm always adding years onto my age. I'm 48. I remember at the age of 5, me saying, I can't remember whether I said it to my mum or somebody, that I don't understand why when people die, people cry. Why can't they just pretend that they've gone to the shops and they haven't come back yet? That's what I genuinely thought. I thought, what's the big deal? They've just gone out, But we know that on a real level, that doesn't work. So yes, and that's why I asked the question that how are you feeling? Because how you feel and what's going on in your mind, the two may not necessarily correlate. So it's not so much about the sensible and practical reality of it, but how do you feel? You naturally want to protect your wife, your children, your family. But if you're not able to do that, how are you able to cope with that? Any more comments? And how much time do I have?
You have about 30 seconds.
30 seconds? Oh my God.
That 15 minutes.
Whoa,
14 minutes.
14 minutes. Guys, If you want me to go an extra 5 minutes, you guys better give me the thumbs up. Otherwise, I will have to log off, and the dog is here, jumping up at me for whatever reason. I don't know. Frisky. And he's come back. Okay, maybe I should have clicked my fingers. Okay, guys, but I want to just say thank you to Jennifer for joining, Francis, Ayabola for joining, and who else? Amma, thank you for joining. And guys, so this is really what I wanted to discuss. I think in a nutshell, what do you use in terms of self-help to bring those emotions down when you feel that you aren't able to protect yourself or your family? And I've shared with you that for me, mine is prayer. Mine is believing in a higher being, that I have no control over myself, and therefore putting my trust in God abdicates me from that burden and that responsibility of trying to protect myself. And one of the scriptures that I rely on is Psalm 91. He who dwelleth in the secret place of the Most High shall abide under the shadow of the Almighty. And I shall say of the Lord, he is my refuge and my fortress. My fortress, my God in whom will I trust. That helps me. And I have been really reading that psalm for a little over 2 weeks, especially when I couldn't, get back to England. And I thought, Lord, I am not omnipresent, and I'm certainly not omnipotent. And that's what I believe in. So what do you believe in? What have you put your trust in? So that's what I want to leave you guys with this afternoon, that understand that there is nothing that you can do because you are human. But what you can do is begin to think about where you put your trust and in whom you put your trust. And hopefully that should empower you. That should make you feel more in control, knowing that you're covered. A little bit like taking travel insurance. That if anything goes wrong, I've got my insurance, I'll be able to fly back, providing it's not coronavirus, in which case that might be a bit different. But this insurance is far better. So guys, have a wonderful afternoon. Please share this video if you think it's going to help somebody. And do press the notification button so that when I go live, you'll get it. So I will let you know what the next topic is for. Got to log off now. My time is up. Thank you very much for joining me, and you guys are always an amazing audience. Thank you so much. Take care. Oh, and thank you to my faithful assistant, Yaba, who you can hear talking in the background. So she reads out your comments, and she is a great assistant whom I will be kidnapping when I go back to England. Okay, take care, guys. Bye. Thank you.